120 years of Chelsea Football Club. Officially today, the 10th of March, 1905 marks 120 years since our club, our beloved Chelsea Football Club, was founded. And this video is all about a trip down memory lane, the history of our club, the good times, the bad times, the glory days, the not so glory days as well. If you are new to this channel, as always, please make sure you subscribe. We are now on the road very quickly to 700 subscribers. We appreciate everyone that has already subbed, commented, liked, all the good stuff that helps this channel grow. We appreciate everyone that is doing that at the moment. This is a channel that we're trying to build. So every sort of sub, like, it all helps. It does. It really does. So as I said, 10th of March, 1905, Chelsea was founded. Chelsea became Chelsea Football Club. And for those of you, some of you might be really young, new Chelsea fans that are just, a couple of years old. This video is for you. This video is for you. You might have to go and ask your granddad to tell you a bit more, or your dad even, to go and tell you some more about it. But Chelsea was founded, based in Fulham, was established on March the 10th, 1905, at the Rising Sun pub. Today, 120 years down the line, the club was founded by Gus Mears and his brother Joseph after acquiring the Stamford Bridge Stadium. And then they decided to form their own team when Fulham declined to lease it. We then went on, as you know as well, a couple of facts here, that Chelsea is also heavily known as the pensioners. And I don't know if a lot of people understand or know why we are called the pensioners. Now, I'm going to tell you why. So here's a little fact about the pensioners. So Chelsea's nickname, the pensioners, stems from the connection to the Royal Hospital Chelsea, which houses British war veterans known as Chelsea pensioners. This association has been a significant part of the club's identity, with many veterans attending matches at Stamford Bridge. There's time to time, if you look in the stands, or if you've been to Chelsea Stamford Bridge before yourself, you will see war veterans with their medals. You'll see a lot of them. That is a representation of the men and women who fought for this country. And that is why the pensioners is the nickname of Chelsea. We have a very close affiliation, as it says, to the Royal Hospital as well, that is located in Chelsea. Now, of course, the club, we've got a massive history. Success winning the Premier League 6 times, the FA Cup 8 times, various European trophies, notably Chelsea, the only English club to have won 3 major UEFA club competitions, that being the Champions League, the Europa League, and the Cup Winners' Cup. Now, we can obviously all change that this season if we go on to win the Conference League as well. That is something that's never been done by any other club. We could be the first club to do that as well. So that's going to be really interesting. Another key thing to remember, our 13-0 win in the European Cup Winners' Cup, 1971. 13-0. I mean, it just goes to show how dominant we were back then as well. But that was the standout, obviously, the largest margin in European club competition history. 13-0. I don't think we're going to see a scoreline like that in a final of a European competition anytime soon. And of course, we know Frank Lampard, our legend at the club as well, scoring 211 goals during his tenure from 2001 to 2014. His contributions were pivotal in many of the club's successes, including multiple Premier League titles and, of course, that Champions League triumph. Since their promotion to the First Division, Chelsea have remained in the top flight of English football, demonstrating their consistency, stability. This streak, now over 35 years, reflects the enduring presence at the highest level of our sport. Now, that's really good going in terms of Chelsea as a football club. 35 years at the top flight is some good going. It's a good innings, and we should be proud of that as a club. As I said, ups and downs over the way, but we have been able to see some really good moments. And I think even, you go back to the early 70s, the 80s, and of course the 90s, when the foreign players and the managers were coming over to the Premier League, we got to see the development of our club grow and grow and grow. And now we've become a global, worldwide known football club. It's something to actually be to praise about. Things aren't as rosy as they could be on the pitch currently for Chelsea, but when you go down the trip down memory lane and you think about all the good times, the bad times as well, you do have to think we're actually very lucky and fortunate to know that we've seen our club play so well and win so many different things. Now, let's go back down. Let's start off, as I said, 1905, 1955, major success in 1955 was under Ted Drake. Chelsea won their first league championship, a surprising triumph that marked their arrival as a serious contender. If you remember back then, Gus Meir was the founder, Ted Drake was the manager, but the one player to stand out for at that time was George Hildeston, early star striker. He was apparently nicknamed the Gatling gun for his amazing goal scoring records at Chelsea as well. So, it then bring us into the 1960s and 1970s. This is where it saw Chelsea really step up as a football club. We won our first FA Cup in 1970, beating Leeds United in a replay. The first European trophy, the Cup Winners' Cup in 1971 against Real Madrid. And of course, the legend was birthed and found. Peter Osgood, the king of Stamford Bridge himself, Charlie Cook and Ron Chopper Harris brought flair and grit, becoming icons at the club also as well during that era. Again, at the time as well, you're talking about a cultural shift as well. So Chelsea, embraced London's swinging 60s vibe, attracting celebrities. It gained a lot of fashionable, reputational, many celebrities started to follow the club. It became bigger and bigger. As I said, it was growing as a global fan base as well. And of course, the famous King's Road as well, was many celebrities were walking down there to come and see Chelsea play football. 1990s, as I said, that was when the foreign influence came into Chelsea Football Club. The appointment of Ruud Gullit as player manager in 1996 ushered a new era. Gullit went on to sign and bring through the likes of Gianfranco Zola, Gianluca Vialli, of course, rest in peace, which shifted almost the sort of, and this is my era, this is my time when I remember Chelsea growing up, in the early 90s, the team that was always kind of there, but thereabouts, but still very good in European competitions as well. During that time as well, we won, obviously, the FA Cup 1997. I'm sure if you're the age that I am, you will remember that game very, very detailed as well. And of course, again, we won the FA Cup in 2000, the League Cup in 1998, the Cup Winners' Cup 1998, and of course, 1999. They made history by fielding their first all-overseas 11 in English football. So again, another bit of history there from Chelsea as well, by fielding a team that had no English players in the team for the first time in English football. Of course, like I said, there was brilliance from Zola during that time. If you remember his brilliant corner goal, I think it was assisted, I'm going to say, by Graham Lasso. I might have got that wrong, completely wrong, but it was a brilliant goal. And if you remember back then as well, Chelsea, they were redeveloping the majority of the stadium. So at the time, the hoardings were all up. You couldn't see, there was no stand behind it as well for a long period of that season at Stamford Bridge in the early 90s. So, and of course, we birthed some brilliant kits. I mean, look, we just birthed brilliant kits and brilliant players at the time, during those times in the 90s as well. But modern day, 2003, the time that Roman Abramovich exchanged hands with Ken Bates, and the rest is almost, as they say, history. 2003, Roman Abramovich came in, the Russian billionaire, brought Chelsea Football Club, clearing debts, injecting funds to sign world-class talent. Of course, it also meant we had to get Jose Mourinho, who arrived 2004, leading Chelsea to back-to-back Premier League titles, 2005, 2006, the multiple domestic cups. He famously called himself the special one, which I'm sure if you know, special press conference. I think it was his first press conference. He dubbed himself the special one. And let's be honest, guys, he wasn't wrong. He was the special one. We went on during that period of time to conquer not just English football, but also European football. We went on to win the competitions such as the Premier League, the Europa League, the Champions League. We won that 2012, of course. Who can forget Didier Drogba's iconic penalty? I always think as well in that game that I feel like we forget how our journey to that final actually was, and how mad it was as well. That Barcelona game with Fernando Torres. It was just a really weird run up to that final. And we have to remember, we were the underdogs against Bayern Munich. If you go back, think about that Bayern Munich team 2012, it was crazy. It was an amazing squad. So for us to be able to do that, again, is something special. And of course, you look now 2021, most famously against Manchester City, Pep's Manchester City, again, underdogs. Kai Havertz, lovely ball through from Mason Mount. And Kai Havertz, as much as we criticise him now for moving to the other side of London, but he did give us that Champions League goal that got us our second Champions League. And obviously, beyond that as well, we went on to win the Club World Cup under Thomas Tuchel as well. And we can't forget, we can't have Chelsea 120 years old and not mention Chelsea women who have been very, very dominant over the years in the Women's Super League as well. And of course, yesterday was International Women's Day as well. So credit to all the women who have been able to not just put Chelsea as a football club on the map, they've separated and put Chelsea Women's Football Club at the very top. All the work that Emma Hayes has done has now been passed over, and it's still continuing to grow. And let's hope women's football does continue to grow even more so as well. I've got daughters. I know other people that have got daughters, and we want to see women's football get to a stage where it is on the same level as men's football. Currently, there's a lot of work still to be done in terms of the exposure that it gets, but women's football, let's hope we can continue to build it and grow it, and then we can birth new talent in Chelsea Football Club in the women's section as well. But I think you have to look at where we've been. You look at the academy as well in terms of how much youth we produced, even going back to like Fikayo Tomori, Tammy Abraham, Mason Mount, Reece James, Ruben Loftus-Cheek. There's so many young players, and some of them that actually didn't go on to do as much as they would have done. But I'm thinking like Josh McKeekran, who I thought was brilliant at the time. We've brought so many young talent through at Chelsea. Probably got one of the best academies still in English football, world football, as it stands at the moment. We have become a global brand, a brand that we can be proud of as Chelsea Football Club. We have, of course, had lows in between those moments, the sanctions, the sackings, the Gael Kakute moment as well. But we have to be proud. We are Chelsea Football Club. 120 years is some good going. And you look back at all the success that we've had at the club, it's amazing. I'm proud to be a Chelsea fan. Let's hope the glory days, the positive days come back to Chelsea very, very soon. Let me know what you think in the comments. What's your best Chelsea moment? I want to hear all of that in the comment section below. What's your best goal, your best kit, your best moment as a Chelsea fan? Let me know all your thoughts. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and we will be back very soon with another video. Enjoy the rest of the week.